In a world where injustice and turmoil often seem to prevail, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and lost. But in Psalm 94, we're reminded of God's unshakable justice and his unfailing love for those who seek him. Whether you're battling anxiety, facing opposition, or wondering how long the wicked will prosper, this powerful passage speaks directly to your heart. Join me as we explore the lessons of hope, faith, and God's protection in Psalm 94 and discover how to find strength in his promise. The Lord is a God who avenges. O God who avenges, shine forth. Lesson. God is your ultimate defender. Even when you feel wronged, trust that he sees all and will bring justice in his time. To rise up, judge of the earth, pay back to the proud what they deserve. Lesson. Call on God for justice. When faced with pride or arrogance, remember that God will deal with them justly. 3. How long, Lord, will the wicked, how long will the wicked be jubilant? Lesson. It's okay to ask God tough questions. When you see injustice or wrongdoing, bring your frustrations to him. Psalm 94, verses 1 to 2. 1. The Lord is a God who avenges. O God who avenges, shine forth. 2. Rise up, judge of the earth, pay back to the proud what they deserve. Lesson. God is the ultimate judge and defender. Even when the world feels unjust, we can trust that God sees all and will act in his perfect time. Psalm 94, verses 3 to 4. How long, Lord, will the wicked, how long will the wicked be jubilant? They pour out arrogant words, all the evildoers are full of boasting. Lesson. It's okay to ask God difficult questions, especially when it feels like the wicked prosper. It's okay to ask God difficult questions, especially when it feels like the wicked prosper. This psalm encourages you to bring your frustrations and doubts to God, knowing he listens and understands. Psalm 94, verses 5 to 6. They crush your people, Lord, they oppress your inheritance. They slay the widow and the foreigner, they murder the fatherless. Lesson. God is aware of the suffering of his people. He is deeply concerned with injustice, especially toward the most vulnerable, such as widows, orphans, and foreigners. Trust that God will protect and defend those who cannot defend themselves. They say, the Lord does not see, the God of Jacob takes no notice. Lesson. Even when people act as if God is absent, or they believe that their wrongdoing goes unnoticed, we can be assured that God sees everything. Nothing escapes his sight, and his justice will prevail in time. Psalm 94, verses 8 to 9. Take notice, you senseless ones among the people, you fools, when will you become wise? Does he who fashioned the ear not hear? Does he who formed the eye not see? Lesson. God, who created all things, including our ability to hear and see, is fully aware of everything. This encourages you to rest in the fact that God hears your prayers and sees your struggles. Psalm 94, verse 10. Does he who disciplines nations not punish? Does he who teaches mankind lack knowledge? Lesson. God disciplines entire nations and teaches humanity wisdom. Trust that he knows how to handle every situation, and his justice is not lacking. Psalm 94, verse 11. The Lord knows all human plans, he knows that they are futile. Lesson. Human plans, especially those made in wickedness or without God, are ultimately futile. God knows the outcome of every scheme, and nothing can thwart his ultimate plan. Psalm 94, verses 12 to 13. Blessed is the one you discipline, Lord, the one you teach from your law. You grant them relief from days of trouble, till a pit is dug for the wicked. Lesson. Discipline from God is a blessing, as it teaches us and molds us into better people. God's correction is not punishment, but an act of love to protect and guide you on the right path. He gives peace even in times of trouble. Psalm 94, verses 14 to 15, For the Lord will not reject his people, he will never forsake his inheritance. Judgment will again be founded on righteousness, and all the upright in heart will follow it. Lesson. God will never abandon his people. Even when things seem bleak, remember that God's judgment is always rooted in righteousness, and those who follow him will experience the fullness of his justice and goodness. Psalm 94, verses 16 to 17, Who will rise up for me against the wicked? Who will take a stand for me against evildoers? Unless the Lord had given me help, I would soon have dwelt in the silence of death. Lesson. You're never alone in your struggles. God is always there to stand up for you, especially when you feel oppressed or overwhelmed by wickedness. Without God's help, life would be hopeless, but with him, you find strength and protection. Psalm 94, verse 18, When I said, My foot is slipping, your unfailing love, Lord, supported me. Lesson. Even when you feel like you're slipping or losing your way, God's unfailing love will always support you. He catches you in your moments of weakness and offers stability and strength. Psalm 94, verse 19, When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. Lesson. In times of deep anxiety and worry, it is God's comfort that brings joy and peace. Trust him to console and restore you, even when your heart is troubled. Psalm 94, verses 20 to 21, Can a corrupt throne be allied with you, a throne that brings on misery by its decrees? The wicked band together against the righteous and condemn the innocent to death. Lesson. Corruption and injustice may seem powerful, but they are not aligned with God's will. Even when the wicked seem united against the righteous, know that God stands with those who uphold justice and righteousness. Psalm 94, verses 22 to 23, But the Lord has become my fortress, and my God the rock in whom I take refuge. He will repay them for their sins and destroy them for their wickedness. The Lord our God will destroy them. Lesson. God is your fortress and rock of refuge. No matter what threats you face, God provides protection and strength. In the end, the wicked will face the consequences of their actions, and God's justice will prevail. Conclusion. Overall lesson from Psalm 94. Trust in God's justice and protection. Even when the world feels unfair and the wicked seem to prosper, God is aware of every injustice and will act in his perfect time. He is your refuge and strength, standing with you in your struggles, and his righteousness will ultimately prevail.